Pricing College with your hosts Aidan Campbell
and Joanna Wells.
In today's episode, we want to talk about discussing pricing with various stakeholders. Obviously, we discuss how dealing with stakeholders in buying engagement or getting engagement is so important in any pricing transformation, and where you have to convey complex ideas to different people. Stakeholders could be anyone in the business, from the CEO to the sales team to, I suppose, assistants and admin people. How do you discuss pricing with them? What should you tell them? And what is the approach?
Yeah, look, so the approach really depends on who you're talking to. If we're going to, let's take, sales teams first. I think sales teams are often excluded from pricing discussions. Pricing discussions are often decided right from the top and then enforced. And I say enforced like a top-down, very classical approach, pretty much an old-fashioned approach. And the sales team are sort of the last people to know about it. And there's an expectation that they should embrace it. Often it's the case that they don't know why pricing is changing or being improved. So there are times when pricing projects are rejected overtly or covertly, or there's a culture of compliance rather than commitment. So what do you do to overcome that? Is it really a top-down strategy? To some degree, it is. You need decision makers to drive this, to sponsor it, but sponsorship doesn't mean top-down management of this pricing project. I think sales teams, from my experience consulting with businesses and working with sales teams on pricing projects, I think involvement in key aspects of the project are key at certain times. I think that sales teams, once they understand the benefit of a pricing project to them, they're more than happy to come on board. If there's any sense that pricing project is going to cause difficulty with their customers, more objections on price, then obviously a sales team won't really embrace that kind of pricing project. So it's all how you position the project to the team. And ultimately, why are you trying to change prices? It's because you want your sales team to sell more at more profitable price points. And they would too if they had the tools. So as part of a pricing project, it's really important to reinforce that the sales team are being considered and that they are going to be giving the tools and support that they need through the pricing project to get the outcomes, the shared outcomes that everybody wants, because they too want to do well and they want the business to succeed. The job depends on it. So there is alignment there. It's just making sure that you've got your approach and story right, and that you actually truly do care and want them to succeed, rather than isolate them from the project right at the start.
Yeah, I think, there's always a concept of mirroring, where that old concept that you match the way people talk, etc. Let's be honest, there are stereotypes in companies. Certain departments look for certain things. And from my experience, that can be beneficial to show that you're on the same page with them. Show that you're not speaking a different language. If it is the sales team you're talking to, make sure that they're aware that you're really looking after their interests. You're trying to boost, align with the sales interest. That may not always be selling volume, but it will be selling profitably is the concept. So you have to make sure that they're aware that you're not hiding away, that you're not just a numbers boffin sitting on the computer, that you really know what it's like out there and you're helping them and working with them. That'll be the first thing I suggest. If you're talking to senior executives, personally, my experience is always they're interested in money, they're interested in results, and so it's really the takeaways, the key objectives, what you're hoping to achieve, the strategies, those aspects, not so much the minute detail that you want to go into, but it's really the objectives, the longer term goals, so they can buy into it, champion it, and stand behind you when you're probably maybe having issues with other stakeholders. If it's the finance department, to a large extent, you have to show that you're in charge of the numbers. You know what the numbers are. You know why it's happening. You can explain stuff. You can run through profitability, volume, all that those sort of aspects that give the finance department confidence that you're speaking the same language as them. I suppose if you're looking at extremes, often the sales department, the marketing department, and the finance team often speak different languages, just don't get each other, and end up almost not talking is the common aspect. So I think with this, when we're talking about stakeholders, you're the person in between these three areas. And when you're the person in between all three, you have to be talking to all three, and you have to have a little bit of all three of those areas. And so I suppose it's it's not giving people what they want, but speaking in a language that they understand.
Yeah, look, I completely agree. You know, pricing crosses so many different topics, so many different functions, that you really have to know how to approach different people and really what they want to get out of the pricing project, and really tap into that. To be able to provide it to them, but also if it's not possible, to explain why or when that can be addressed, because these sort of things are the major things that derail or slow down a pricing project. And often consultants will, just target the CEO because they know if they speak the language of the CEO and just talk money, then they can sort of get the sale in, and often they'll buy the software or that almost silver bullet money solution that the CEO wants, and almost tries to take away from the fact that culture and people and alignment issues may get in the way of that silver bullet solution. So they won't discuss that with the CEO just to get the sale. So it's very important, that you take, when you're thinking about pricing projects, to take more than just the consultant's view on that, or even your own executive team's view on that, because they've all got their own agenda in a certain way. So look out externally to different industries, different experts that have done it before, maybe CEOs and colleagues, and what they've done, what they've learnt from, successes, failures, and how they've really driven that structured change management approach, because underlying every pricing project is a change management approach, and to think of that as an afterthought will get you in trouble. So make sure that's almost that is a priority alongside the money and the EBIT gains that you want to secure for the business, because the two go hand in hand.
Yeah, I think that's all we'll touch on today. I suppose, get out there, have good conversations, and it's think, why is that person talking to you? Think what department, where they're coming from. Think what they want to achieve, and fundamentally, you're there to help them. Fundamentally, you are there to work with them, help them, and help them deliver what they want to do and are incentivized to do. So it should be a good conversation.
Okay, well, thank you for listening.
Bye.